All right. Once again, it is time for the greatest time of the week. And it's also right after a pay-per-view. And man, that pay-per-view was good. It was to some it was probably controversial, but we're gonna talk about it. So what is everybody in for today, Lionel?
Everyone is in for a very drama-filled episode of Off the Top Rope.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we gotta get into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. We didn't get to record at our normal time. We got some Booker T stuff. We got the internet going crazy about Moxley winning. There's a lot going on this Dynasty review. But first, before we talk about that, y'all gotta follow us. Make sure that you're following us on Blue Sky. They're on the screen. If you're on YouTube right now, they're on the screen. Easy to take. If you're not on Blue Sky, follow me at Shikoku. Follow Prophet at Prophet. Follow the entire podcast Blue Sky at TAGPW podcast. And definitely make sure that if you follow one of us, you follow all of us. You get a lot of takes on there. I can officially say it now because it can finally be true. We're both on there giving our takes and doing that kind of stuff all the time. So definitely feel free to follow us. You'll get everything. You'll see that I've been on for a little bit today because people have been pissing me off. But yeah, other than that, if you can't listen to us on YouTube, if you're not on YouTube right now for whatever reason, make sure that you are listening to us on Spotify. That is your one-stop shop to listen to us on the go. All of our episodes are on there for Off the Top Rope. Eventually, all of our podcasts are going to be on there, but we'll talk about that once we get there in a couple weeks. So definitely make sure you follow us. There's going to be a channel link eventually to where you'll be able to find us on Spotify specifically. But definitely just make sure you're following us over there if you want the audio-only version of this podcast. Prophet, tell them about the YouTube.
All right, guys. So now that you're on YouTube, and more than likely that's where you're listening at, there's a few things I'm going to ask for you. First thing, subscribe. Subscribing gets you not only one podcast, and I'll stress this every time, but it will get you 3 podcasts. It'll get this one as the weekly podcast, which is Off the Top Rope, where we talk about all things AEW, pro wrestling, and we even soon we're going to dip into that New Japan, so be ready for that. Also, we have another show called The Command Grab, where we talk about games, what we're playing, what we're excited about, some of the gaming news. Hey, in about 30 minutes from now, from our episode about, the Nintendo Switch 2, Berserker Kazan, Monster Hunter Wilds, the bad PoE patch, all that stuff is going to be on there. Check it out. Also, the very last one is the OVA, which we talk about the anime that we have watched or are currently watching during the season. And, that we're enjoying, enjoying or not, some can take a turn for the worst in a New York minute. So who knows? So with that, also hit the bell button so you can get all of our content whenever it pops up. At the end of the podcast, hit that like button. It'll help us out, helps out the algorithm. It tells it, hey, you like the podcast. There's some interaction here and people like it. And also at the very end, because I know this might be a controversial episode, comment. Let's get a conversation going. So with all that, let's get to the show.
Yes, sir. There are timestamps on the bottom if you're on YouTube. So if you don't want to hear what we're about to talk about first, because it's not fully Dynasty related, definitely feel free to hit the timestamps down there. Listen to the show. Get to the other drama that we're going to be talking about. But first thing we got to talk about, being 2 black men, we have to talk about the drama that's been happening between Swerve and Booker T over the last week.
Yeah.
To give a very brief rundown before we give our opinions, there's been a little bit of back and forth between Booker T and Swerve. All of it is stemming from not a lot of black male talent being on PLE's pay-per-views over in WWE land. NXT, they seem like they're doing a good job over there. But WWE specifically, not a lot of black folks are hitting those cards, those main cards on pay-per-view. That has led to a lot of discussion, which eventually led to Swerve being on DJ Vlad, which fuck DJ Vlad, culture vulture piece of shit. But there was talks about why Swerve thinks that there aren't a lot of black talent on WWE pay-per-views, PLEs. That led to Booker T saying some pretty coonish stuff, basically saying like he didn't have a problem getting on pay-per-view cards. I mean, we could talk about that a little bit. He also said that, Right now, maybe there just isn't enough talent. I feel like I'm saying it a little bit meaner than he did, but whatever. Maybe there isn't enough talent to be on there. Maybe the talent isn't on the level that I was on to get on pay-per-views. And that led to the end of Dynasty, which again was not on TV. This was after the fact on a fan cam. Swerve saying fuck Booker T. Booker T has responded. He's a little salty. Saying that he's not gonna pick up Swerve anymore. He also said that Tony Khan might be upset that he's saying his name at the end of the pay-per-view, despite the fact, again, not being on TV. And trust me, if you're online right now, if you think that everyone is only talking about Booker T and Swerve Strickland, boy, you are not looking at AEW timelines right now, because that is not what's happening at all. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Prophet, give me your thoughts on what's going on between Swerve and Booker T.
Here's the first thing, right? It sucks that it took a DJ Vlad interview to make Booker T crawl out of his hole and then talk about another black talent, right?
Yeah.
He's talking about the top black talent in AEW, which is Swerve Strickland, pretty much a franchise player in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And he was going, come on, man, you on DJ Vlad, and talking, all that trash to only be like one of the biggest hypocrites at the same time, man. Mm-hmm. Like, the only reason your interview didn't go up there was because DJ Vlad was late. That's it. Other than that, it would have been your ass up there first, and then Swerve would have been, right now. So it sounds like the only reason you're mad at DJ Vlad is because he was late, and then you didn't get your interview up there. That's it. But you retorting and talking about the black talent in WWE not being good enough to be on a PLE or pay-per-view, whatever the hell they call them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is ridiculous. Completely and utter ridiculous. Like, there's no way Carmelo Hayes should not be anywhere. Like, there's no way Carmelo Hayes should not be on a pay-per-view. He should be on, after being called up, he should be on damn near every pay-per-view. He should be in a big-time feud, right? And unfortunately, there's only like 3 feuds in the WWE men's division, and we're not even going to talk about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Montez Ford and D'Angelo Dawkins, both super talented men, they aren't even defending their tag titles at WrestleMania. You're telling me they're not good enough either?
2-night event, by the way.
It's a 2-night event. But you got that trash, like, you got that other trash, the Charlotte Flair fucking Tiffany Stratton dumpster fire going on? Yeah. No. Montez Ford and D'Angelo Dawkins deserve to be on WrestleMania. Those guys are fantastic. Apollo Crews, he just completely disappeared. He's nowhere. That guy is super talented. He should be on... If he's anywhere outside of WWE, he's on the card. He's going for something. Right? I don't think Booker T says it's a lack of talent. All those guys are super talented. And they're, just as, or if not more talented than Booker T is. So, yeah, Book, cut the shit. And the only reason got in the position you are in is because you shucked and jived for certain people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put it how it is. You sat up there, you shucked and jived. You let them be super racist to your face. Vince coming out with the do-rag, hitting it, saying the N-word right in front of you, and you just not doing shit because he's your boss. Triple H pretty much telling you you're not good enough to be a world champion, that all you are is an entertainer, and then you lose at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say shit about that either. There's a reason why, you main evented some and, did some stuff. They gave you just enough so later on you can just say the shit. And what is disappointing to me is if you're saying this shit, that means everybody, most of the people above you are pretty much saying the same thing. You're regurgitating what the fuck they say, right?
Oh, for sure.
So it's just, it is pretty sad. So I'm just going to say this. Black talent in WWE, males and females, know your worth and maybe shop around. Look around at, some of the other companies. They will not treat you worse. If anything, they will treat you better because you have talent. Just saying. What do you think, Lionel?
I think I'm really disappointed in Booker T, to be honest. As kids, like a lot of us really looked up to Booker T and what he was doing, right?
Yeah.
Like he after Ron Simmons, he was like the guy for black wrestlers.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it was. And I know we didn't talk about this before the podcast, but sitting here, and I've been sitting here while listening to you, I've been reading his comments again, and it's just disappointing to see that. Like, come on, man. Like, am I going to say this? Yes, I am. I'm going to say it. You know what company you work for. You know what the people up there are doing right now. You see Triple H sitting behind Linda McMahon getting sworn in to the Department of Education. You see all the stuff that's going on around them right now. And this is what you do? You say you're an advocate? None of us see you advocating. Like, and you don't have to advocate out loud, but there should be something. Right? Like, this shit happened last week. We haven't seen not one black talent from anywhere, even your own company, Reality of Wrestling, come out and say, yeah, Booker T's really helped me. He put in a good word for me. He did this, he did that. Nothing. And I think that's the point of what Swerve is saying. And the worst part about it is that Booker T is the one saying it, because no one else in there could say it. Triple H can't say it. I mean, Triple H has already gone far to say he doesn't see color, because this has been a thing for over a year now. There was a press conference like maybe 8 months ago, whenever that press conference happened after pay-per-view, saying that, I don't see color. And look what's happening. It's just getting worse. Prophet already named off some people, but specifically Carmelo Hayes. He can main event pay-per-views in NXT, but can't do PLEs. I'm gonna try to be nice in WWE. Can't even get on the card. Like, there are a lot of things that you can say about WWE, and honestly, them being racist is one of them. They got fucking Logan Paul. Apparently, he did something crazy on Raw. We're recording right now as Raw's going on. I don't know what happened, but apparently he said something insane on Raw. Apparently, he made fun of a wrestler's broken neck or some shit. Like, I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen it. I just see people up in arms on it about it. But that's what WWE is. Booker T, you can have your job, whatever. You should not be out as the face defending it. Because what you are right now, you just look like a coon helping out with that racist ass company being okay with what they're doing. And it's not okay. Saying that black talent aren't good enough, like they should get some merit, they should get as good as I was, bro. No. And it's just, like I said, to wrap the whole thing up, it's just disappointing to see Booker T shucking and jiving like this, because it's just, the money can't be that worth it. The money can't be that worth it. I don't think I could ever sell out black folks just for some money. I don't know how some people can do it, but it's just depressing. And I'm gonna echo what Prophet said also. Black talent. I'm not saying that y'all need to go to AEW. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying y'all will get a lot of money going somewhere where you most likely will be appreciated. If you want to sit back and do this, albeit, that's fine. If this is what you want to do, go ahead and do it. I'm not saying that you or need to leave, but if you really want to have like a shot and a chance at doing something, get out that racist ass company. Yep. That's it.
Yeah. One more wrestler I'll mention is Omos. He went to, Pro Wrestling Noah.
Yeah.
And then, got the tag titles, and then, had to relinquish it. And they called him back. Haven't seen him since. He had that run. He should just let him stay in Pro Wrestling Noah, but they know he would have got more notoriety because it was a big deal when he went over there. And he was doing great. So, yeah, just in the whole discussion about this, it's just, Booker T, disappointing. Like, real disappointing, man. Like, I remember in, high school, like, my favorite tag team was Harlem Heat. For WCW, my favorite tag team was Harlem Heat.
Mm-hmm.
Booker T was he was my guy in WCW. And then in WWE, of course, it was The Rock. And I always wanted to see Booker T versus The Rock, you want to see that. That was the dream match back then. Yeah. But still, like, to have you come out now and just saying all that. It just sucks, man. I guess, going to being a broadcaster at NXT and seeing, and just gawking at Lola Vice all the time is just, what you do now. So, oh well, whatever. Let's get on to the good shit.
On to the good shit. We are now about to get into our Dynasty review. And if y'all don't know how our reviews for pay-per-views work, basically, we don't really talk too much about Dynamite and Collision. We might have to touch on a little bit here and there because some stuff kind of mostly directly involves what happened on Dynasty. But we're here to focus on the pay-per-view, the show, and as we always do, we first talk about the main event. And oh boy, you want to talk about drama.
Yeah.
As we're recording, it's about 23 hours from when the main event happened. Mm-hmm. We're about there. But about 23 hours away. All right, we're just going to get straight into the main event and we'll talk about the ending. Our main event of Dynasty was Jon Moxley, our AEW World Champion, versus challenger Swerve Strickland. Swerve has come in with a lot of momentum. Swerve has come in with I guess honestly at this point, with the hopes of the AEW audience. Because we said it last week. I think we said it on the podcast too. We didn't know what was going to happen if Jon Moxley retained the title. We were on the Swerve train. Swerve's going to win. He's going to move on. He's going to do what he has to do. I can say this. This match for Moxley and Swerve was definitely one of the better matches in Moxley's title reign, for sure. I don't think you can argue that. But it was still pretty slow. A lot happened though. But we got to talk about the last 10 minutes of the match because I feel like that is the part that is kind of driving people a little crazy.
Yeah.
We had the Death Riders show up. Death Riders were around. Actually, no. We're gonna start. We're gonna start how we're actually supposed to start. Moxley and Swerve were in the ring wrestling. They were kind of doing their thing. Moxley throws a chair at Swerve, but Swerve ducks it and hits the referee. And this is when everyone's like, "Oh shit, here we go. Here come the Death Riders." But the Death Riders actually didn't come first. The first person to come out was Hangman Adam Page.
Uh-huh.
Hangman standing on the apron. Moxley and Swerve are kind of like groggy to get up. Hangman's looking at them both. He's trying to see who's about to hit the buckshot too. He doesn't even really get to the chance to do it because Pac shows up out of literally nowhere and standing on the apron next to him. And this is when the entire world goes crazy. Because all the Death Riders come out, the Ops come out, everyone's fighting. Like, it is chaos. We get to a point where Hangman's gone, the Ops are gone, the Death Riders are gone. We are back to 1v1. At this point, Marina's already taken out because Mox hit her with the cutter accidentally. So Marina's already taken out of the picture too. Everyone's gone. The lights go out. They go out for like a minute. When we come back, the Young Bucks are holding on to Swerve. And they're just looking at Swerve. Swerve is like, no, you can't do this. No. And then they hit the BTE trigger. They leave the ring. Moxley crawls over and pins Swerve 1, 2, 3. We see a shot of the Bucks in the crowd. And then the pay-per-view promptly goes off because it is 12:30 on the East Coast. And then they were back for time. 4.5 hours. They cut off immediately. Profit. This is going to be a doozy.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the match? And what are your thoughts on the ending of the match?
Okay. So, I'm probably going to get hate for this. I'm going to be I'm going to be that guy, I guess, today. I actually enjoyed the match. It was slow starting, right? But it was a ramp. There was a nice ramp to the whole match. I think everybody thought this was just going to be both of them going guns blazing. Thank God it wasn't, right? I enjoy how the match was paced because you got two methodical guys trying to outdo each other. And that's what it was. And, it went from two methodical guys trying to outdo each other to they both hit that switch and they're both two crazy guys trying to outdo each other. One of the interesting parts was, you touched on it, was Hangman. So at first, Hangman, when he was up there, he was going to get Swerve. But then, right, he looked over at Moxley. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't like that motherfucker either. So he started sliding over. I'm pretty sure he was going to hit Moxley with it, with the buckshot lariat, because he did end up hitting him with the Deadeye
Mm-hmm.
and laid out Moxley in the middle of the ring before he like rolled out and got attacked by the rest of the Death Riders. And, before the Ops came, right? I do like the fact that the Ops came out because, like we've said many podcasts ago, they're the dead ringer for the Trios title.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And yeah, with all that chaos and going on and, end of the match was the end of the match. Like, Moxley won. I actually don't mind the way it ended because it's much different if Moxley went over clean, right? Moxley needed all the help in the fucking world to get past Swerve.
Mm-hmm.
So it does nothing to Swerve. It doesn't take him down any notches or anything like that. There was like 4 or 5 different stories happening at once. We had Death Riders, the trio team, versus, we got them in the Ops now. We have the potential Hangman and Swerve team up now.
Mm-hmm.
We know Swerve ain't gonna let that slide with the Bucks, so he's gonna be on a manhunt, and probably until All In on the Bucks. And you know what? Maybe Hangman Adam Page might be too. Something's gonna happen where they join up, and maybe it might have something to do with the wild card. Who knows? And it also brings, we're going to look at it story-wise. The Bucks doing what they did makes complete sense. I'm not going to say it was completely obvious, but you got to sit back and take a look at the events that happened up till this point.
Oh, yeah.
The Bucks, when the Death Riders were running roughshod on everybody in the beginning, and they were just going, it was on site with everybody. The Bucks were nowhere to be found. They were not, the Elite were not helping anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they lost their tag titles, they were like, oh shit. They were like shredding paperwork and doing all kinds of things, right? But one of the things people miss is that, when Brandon Cutler was trying to run out, Mox and crew was looking for the Bucks. We don't know what it was for. It could have been like, hey, you saw what we did. We're reporting in or something like that. It could have been for anything. It wasn't necessarily he was going to attack them. So it's going to be interesting on Wednesday. Do we find out that Mox and crew might have been working for the Bucks? They told the Bucks, hey, the Bucks told them, we don't like the way stuff is going, so we need you to take over and do some things. There's just a lot of different things going on that, Dynamite's going to be even more intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take on it. Like, of course I would have liked Swerve to win, but the way it ended and all the things that, are happening and all the story beats and stuff like that, it's not like it just ended, right? No, this is an ongoing thing. It's going to keep going. So I'm really looking forward to Wednesday to see how everything unfolds or how it starts to unfold.
I want to add to your point really quick.
Yeah.
Before the Bucks disappeared, also before they lost the tag titles, Swerve was against them.
Yes.
Because Swerve was at the time as world champion. Swerve was trying to lead Team AEW against the Elite. Because at this point, before the Death Riders started going completely insane, the Elite were out here like beating up Tony Khan and like doing shit too, right? Swerve stepped up against them, and that's what led into Blood and Guts, where the Bucks lost. So the Bucks have a few reasons to get after Swerve. A few reasons. So like this, it makes sense if you watch the shows. I know it was a while back, because
Right.
AEW doesn't do long-term storytelling or nothing like that, right? So it was a long time ago.
Even though this was from like a year ago, but yes.
Yeah.
Not long term enough, I guess.
I guess not. It's not a 4-year boring storyline, but neither here nor there. The Bucks had a lot of reasons to go after Swerve.
Yeah.
Right? So they did. Now the question is the relationship between the Death Riders and the Bucks in the Elite.
Yeah.
Right now, that's the $1 million question. because there are for people who are not going completely insane about the ending of the main event, a lot of people are having really good conversations right now about what the Bucks could mean to the Death Fighters. There are people that are saying like the Bucks got the Death Fighters together to do what they're doing. There are also people who are saying that they might be working together. There are also some people who are saying that this was purely just to get back at Swerve as a revenge tactic. We're not going to know until Wednesday. And then point two, really quick. I think the one thing that I don't like about this whole situation, which I guess in a way might be good for us, is that Jon Moxley is now the most boring character out of the entire main event scene of that match. Because everyone's set up right now. We got the trio set up between the Ops and the rest of Death Riders. We have Swerve and potentially Hangman, because they got to work out their beef and their shit. And I know they started last week, and I know we haven't got to talk about it, but that happened. They have to deal with their beef, and they're eventually they got to go at the Young Bucks, but they got to figure out their beef first. Mox is just kind of he's boring now, right? Like who? A lot of people weren't really feeling Mox's title reign to begin with, and don't get me wrong, I'm still there. Like the Death Rider title, Death Rider main event, Death Rider main events not great. Jon Moxley's this title reign not great. I feel like we all can agree there. People talking about it is exhausting though. But now we have so much more interesting. The whole company's already interesting to begin with, but we have so much more interesting stuff happening around like our top players that who gives a fuck about what Moxley's doing? All right, Moxley. Look, you got until All In, whatever. Do whatever you want. No one cares about you. No one's gonna watch that shit. Everyone's gonna worry about what's going on with the Bucks and with Hangman and Swerve. That's where everyone's at right now. Of the people who are not doom and gloom about Moxley winning the match last night.
And the other thing we said too, and we were, I guess we need to start making it a point saying this is where we speculate it's going to go, or this is where we think, or I don't know, like just so people don't take this stuff as gospel. But one of the things we said, a week, I think it was a week ago, was that depending on the outcome of this, we're going to figure out real quick what that main event is. And, right now, with what happened, all things are pointing to Ospreay. And it's kind of been building that way.
Yeah.
To Ospreay Mox. That's where there was two possible outcomes. Ospreay Mox, or, if Swerve would have won, it possibly would have been Swerve Hangman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could have been Swerve Ospreay, either one. But then Swerve would have had like a 2 or 3 month title reign. That just wouldn't have felt good.
Yeah, everyone would have been upset. That's what people wanted, but everyone would have been upset that Swerve didn't really get like a nice little title reign.
Yeah, well, I'd rather him not have a small one. Like, I want him to have a significant one.
Agreed.
If he's gonna, get the title again, he deserves that much, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, like, there's those possibilities, and hey, they can change it however they want. They can swerve us a different way. Shit, it might be Josh Alexander going all the way. That's what I want, but never mind that.
It depends on who that wild card is, right? Because now this is what makes Hangman stuff really interesting. Because Hangman's still in there. He's against a wild card, and who knows? The Bucks have already manipulated wild cards before. Because remember, if y'all watch AEW like we do, last year Hangman was the wild card and beat the shit out of Jeff Jarrett.
Yep.
Because he wanted to try to get a shot at Swerve. Like, that was a whole thing. So it could be whoever. It could be someone that the Bucks manipulated. It could be a random person. Like, that wild card is more interesting now because now the Bucks are involved, and who knows what the fuck the Bucks have planned, because they're insane also.
And depending on how they're, what their relationship with Jack Perry is,
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see one. You never know. They throw Jack Perry in there.
Yeah, Jack Perry also has been absent for a little while.
Yep. So what? Who knows, man? Like, it's just this ending to this match made a whole lot of other stuff more interesting now. Like, that's why I'm saying I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. I also sat back and critically think for a second. So,
if we're gonna be completely real, And this might be going crazy. Well, first off, before we talk about this, you brought up the fantasy bookers, the people who are fantasy booking, and I don't want to give a lot of energy to that because people have been going crazy. But one thing I want to say about that is, y'all need to remember, just because you want something to happen does not mean that's going to happen. And a lot of the stuff that you guys were seeing, that you're saying Swerve and Hangman was supposed to be the main event of All In, no, there were no signs. That's just what you wanted. And it's fine to want things. Prophet and I, we sit here, we fantasy book all the time. I mean, it doesn't help that we're right like 90% of the time. But, we're here fantasy booking all the time. We have a good time fantasy booking. It's just fun. When we're wrong, we're not freaking out about it. So I just need everyone to just relax. Just calm down. The sky is not falling. Y'all are just freaking out for no reason.
Yeah. It's, let it ride. Let it ride. Let it happen. Look, if people can watch the same bloodline shit for 2 years, you guys can, withstand like 2 or 3 more months of Moxley. It's fine.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. That actually leads to my point that I was actually about to say before I went to that little mini thing.
Yeah.
This is a good opportunity to have Moxley just disappear for a little bit. If I'm completely honest. Look, right now, we still have to be honest about what's going on with Moxley. Moxley right now is not a good world champion. What he is doing right now is not great. Right. And I know I am also tired of talking about it. I'm very tired of seeing people doom and gloom over this title reign. Yes, we understand it's not good. Yes, we also wanted Swerve to win. But right now, we have so much more interesting stuff going on around like other people that it might just be a good idea to have Mox just disappear for a little bit. Look, the next pay-per-view that everyone's kind of skipping over is Double or Nothing, right? We have another pay-per-view before we even get to All In. And usually, Double or Nothing is main evented by Anarchy in the Arena. We can probably say that the Bucks are probably going to be Anarchy in the Arena because they always are.
Yep, that's why they showed up.
Yeah. It like more than likely we're going to get Swerve in there in some way, right? This is the time that Moxley just disappears for a little bit. Like, I think for the betterment of what's going on with the world title that we don't already see anyway, give Moxley like a few weeks. He doesn't have to do anything. Let the other Death Riders show up and let them do their things with the trios, because I believe that the Ops should beat the Death Riders instead of waiting till All In Texas. Just do it at Double or Nothing. Just get it out of the way, knock them out. But
I don't blame Mox for if he wanted to take a break and not be in Arizona for Double or Nothing.
Ugh.
He knows it would be better in Vegas.
Yeah, everyone does, except for everyone outside of Vegas. But it just, this might be a good opportunity because Moxley right now, if you remember, if you go back to what happened in that main event, Moxley didn't have anything really set up for him other than what his relationship is with the Bucks. And we don't need Moxley for this. Just let Moxley, for the sake of everyone, and I know there's going to be a lot of people, why isn't Moxley on TV? It's the same people who are upset that he's a world champion. Why isn't he on TV? Don't worry about them idiots. Keep Moxley off TV for a few weeks. Let this stuff with the Bucks cook. We have 2 world champions already. We have 1 world champion, Timeless Tony Storm, and we have 1 world champion in Kenny Omega. We will be fine without Moxley for a little bit. Just let him go off to the side. Let him do his thing for a little bit. Once he's ready to come back to get this all-in build really cooking, let him come back and do his Death Rider stuff. But for now, either keep him off of TV or just move him to the side for a little bit and let everyone else cook for Double or Nothing. You have any more thoughts on the whole main event scene and all this stuff that's going on?
Nah, for once I've said my piece.
Ooh. So we're going to do this one a little bit different. Normally we go match to match, right? Yeah. I want to get one more match out of the way, and I think we should just go after that. We just go down the card because the rest of the card is incredible.
Yep. Let's just do it.
You already know which match to talk about to get out of the way.
Yep. Let's talk about Bandito and Jericho.
Yep. And the only match that actually make me mad last night, we had the Ring of Honor World Champion, Chris Jericho, versus Bandito. People don't care about Jericho anymore right now. Like, Jericho didn't even get like boos, really. It felt like apathy and a lot of please retire chants. Yeah. And then a little bit of stuff near the end, but it is what it is. I guess we'll talk about both endings and we'll just move on from there. In a very bad match, Jericho looked like he could barely move in this match. Jericho hits Bandito with Floyd, his bat. and then slowly hides it in between the ring steps. Referee doesn't see what happens. Who's out there? I think it was Bryce, who was the actual referee, was in there.
It's always Bryce.
It was Bryce? It was Bryce.
It probably was.
Bryce counts Bandito for 1, 2, 3. The whole crowd is booing. I don't even remember if they were booing or not. I think I was just booing. I think I was really angry about what was happening. I don't even remember what the crowd was doing.
The crowd was more like silent and upset.
Yeah, okay. Because maybe I was ranting right. I was very loud for the crowd in my own home. So Jericho is cheering. He's celebrating. Everyone is like, whatever. I'm very upset in my house. And then Bandito's mom and sister, who have been ringside watching the match. Bandito's mom has been crying the entire time, by the way, which is wild. They go up to Aubrey Edwards, who's outside. And he's like, hey, look, go over there. Look over here. He cheated. He hit with the bat. And they were doing also in Spanish, and Aubrey can also speak Spanish. But they were talking about this. So Aubrey brings them over. They go over to where the bat is. Jericho's looking at them like, no. And Aubrey finds the bat. And then Bryce is looking like, no, he cheated? How dare he? They go over to Justin Roberts, and the match gets restarted. And the match doesn't last that much longer after this. Bandito hits a 21 plex and beats Jericho for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So we had a dusty finish, and Bandito is now officially Ring of Honor World Champion. Prophet, what are your thoughts?
I'm glad it was where that match was where it was at, because it was one of those matches that was, it's no fault of Bandito or any, but people, it kind of like took the wind out of people, man. Like, they were riding a high up until that point, and then they kind of went down. And then Bandito won, they went up a little bit again, and then the next match, those guys tore it up, and it just went to a high again, right? Mm-hmm. But, man, glad Bandito won. I'm looking forward to seeing all the crazy stuff he's going to do in Ring of Honor. Now that he has the title, he's going to be doing some shit. So I'm glad for that. It's just, Jericho, take a break for a little bit. That's it. I ain't going to say nothing other than that. Just take a little break. That's it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can go on a tirade. I don't want to. I'm just happy Jericho lost the title. As much as I don't like the dusty finish stuff, we didn't need that. Jericho did not need his hand raised in here at all. I feel like this was just I feel like this was just a Jericho call. The Jericho just wanted to get his hand raised before he lost the title, which right now Jericho has definitely never seemed like that type of guy. He's never seen like that type of wrestler.
He's not.
But right now, like, I only think the worst of Jericho because of what has happened over the last like year and a half. Yeah, so let him go away. Bandito will do great things. I'm very happy. Just don't even bring Jericho back for like a promo segment. Nothing. Just let him go away. Let's completely just dismiss the learning tree because they also lost. We'll get there eventually, and let's just move on.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the rest of the learning tree later, and I can only say good things about them.
Mm-hmm. They have a future. I actually hope they stay as a tag team, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So we're going to be a little bit different, like I said, because usually what we do, for those who don't know, usually we just pick matches that we want to talk about and just kind of go from there. I think we should just go down the card from this point because everything else on this card was...
Yeah. No, like, there's no reason just pick and choose the matches. Like, the card, the way it was, minus, like, the one match, but he...
Yep. And we're going to start a little bit different also, Prophet, because we got to start where AEW starts. And we're going to do 0 Hour early.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't watch 0 and didn't get a chance to watch 0 Hour.
Oh, you didn't watch 0 Hour?
No.
Oh, I can't wait to talk to you about this then. I suggest to you, watch the 2 matches from 0 Hour.
Okay.
You don't have to watch anything else. Just watch 2 matches. I went into 0 Hour a little bit upset that we only had 2 matches and we didn't have like another women's match on here, to be honest. And to be honest, I definitely think they could have snuck in like another match. Easily could have. But they decided not to. But 2 matches on here were great. The first one was a trios match between Crew and Nick Wayne and Top Flight and a very crowd-supported AR Fox. AR Fox was... It felt like AR Fox was Kenny Omega. And I am not exaggerating. The crowd was so behind AR Fox that it was crazy. They also talked about Nick Wayne on this during this match. They talked about Nick Wayne being in the best Super Juniors. Yes. So congrats to Nick Wayne. That's fantastic. One of the youngest in best Super Juniors, by the way, of all time. So he's down there as the youngest. He's going to do great over there.
Yeah, he's going to do fantastic.
The only thing I'm going to talk about this match is, again, how insane Philly went for AR Fox. Like, anything he was doing, it felt like the whole crowd was just on his side. And at this point, I knew this was going to be a good crowd. And they did not disappoint throughout the whole match. The whole show. Sadly, though, AR Fox does take the pin. After doing some amazing stuff, after basically taking over the entire match, AR Fox does get pinned by Nick Wayne for the 1-2-3 with the Wayne's World. After Mother Wayne shoved AR Fox off the top rope when before Fox was about to do something from there. Nick Wayne then kind of got into Crew's face and says, y'all owe me one. Y'all owe me one. And that's kind of where that match ended. I was going to ask if you have any thoughts, but you didn't really watch the match. And I didn't really give a lot. But do you have anything?
No, I'm just glad AR Fox is finally getting his flowers.
Mm-hmm. Then after a lot of talking, they were like stalling for time because we only had one other match. We had the Best Wrestler Alive Open Challenge.
Wait, I saw that part.
You saw this part?
Yes.
Okay. So Max Caster comes out. The crowds are now starting to really do the chant, which is insane. Why are they doing the chant? He's getting over. Like, people are starting to enjoy Max Caster.
They enjoy him getting his ass kicked. That's what they enjoy.
But they were doing the "Let's go, Max! You're the best wrestler alive." And Max, to his credit, every time that they started doing it, he started like being mad at them, like, "Oh no, of course y'all are doing it wrong. I know it's a lot of syllables, a lot of tempo, blah 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 blah." Right? So we get through that. He takes off his jacket. It's a Ben Simmons jersey, which gets the crowd back against him because it's Philly. And if y'all don't know the story between Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't have time to tell you. Just know that Ben Simmons basically ruined his career in Philadelphia and has not been the same since. Bowens, or spoiler, Max Caster is like, who is ready to face the best wrestler alive? And then a music song hits. I kind of already said who it was at this point now. We don't know who it was. And then we see 5 TP, and it's Anthony Bowens. The crowd goes crazy again. Everyone's very excited to see Anthony Bowens. They kind of get into each other's face, and this goes as expected of these Max Caster Open challenges. Max barely gets any offense in, and Anthony Bowens hits him with a rolling forearm that he is calling the Mollywop. The Mollywop.
He hit him with the Mollywop.
He said on Blue Sky. He put it on Blue Sky. So officially, if you haven't heard the name, if this is your first time hearing the name of Anthony Bowens' finishing move, the rolling elbow is called the Mollywop.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Crowd goes crazy. Bowens is here. Bowens is back. He's the 5-tool player. He looked like an American Gladiator in the costume he came out with before he took off those stuff. Like, just, I miss Bowens. It's incredible. I'm so happy he's back.
Man, let me tell you. Mm-hmm. The way they packaged him up, man. He had awesome theme music, by the way.
Yeah, Jane's Addiction, I think.
So he had that awesome theme music. He came out, he had pyros, he's looking the part. Guy looked like $1 million coming out there, and he did his thing, and yeah, he looks good. And I think I texted you. I was like, yo, either texted you or I put it on Blue Sky. I was like, hey, Bowens is coming out. He looks like $1 million, and I could see him immediately coming out. I'm like, that guy's a runner for being TNT champion, like one of the next TNT champions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, the way he's packaged and everything, we already know he can talk, so that's not a problem. He can wrestle. That's not a problem either. So he could do everything. So he's getting put in that spot now. So it's great to see.
We've been waiting for this, and we're finally going to get it. I feel like Bowens is about to be, like you said, presentations on 10. He's going to be a big part of AEW going forward. He's already been a very big part of AEW in the Acclaimed. But now it should be on another level. Single star written all over him from day one anyway. So we'll see how that goes for him in the future. So then after this, we get the pyro. We get everything, and this is the official starts of AEW Dynasty. And what is the best way to start a pay-per-view?
A Will Ospreay match.
Oh, yeah. We have the very first match of the Owen Hart men's tournament. Quarterfinals match. We have Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. And this is a big deal because Jim Ross is on commentary for this one also, by the way.
Yep.
So this is already being packaged as a big deal. Kevin Knight, for those who might not be aware, he is replacing Switchblade Jay White Jay White seems like he broke his hand and had a very New Japan Switchblade-esque promo on Collision.
He did.
So I think we're gonna see him pretty soon. It's broken hand. I don't think he's gonna be gone for too long. I think he's gonna be back in time for All In, and I think we're gonna get back to heel switch as he should be. But we're not talking about Switchblade right now. We're talking about Will Ospreay and Kevin Knight. And let me tell you, if you want a match to open a pay-per-view, this is the one. Kevin Knight and Will Ospreay looked like they were giving everything out there. Like, it was just incredible. Like, I cannot tell you about all the things that they were doing. We could talk about all the Kevin Knight's reversals that he was doing. That poison Rana reversal that he did on Ospreay.
Yeah.
Jumping out the gym. Ospreay was also just selling his ass off for Kevin Knight too, by the way. This was a very good back and forth match. But does what he does. He hit a Styles Clash and hit the Oz Cutter, and everyone's like, oh, it's over. Kevin Knight kicked out at 2. So then Ospreay runs to the back of the corner, gets ready, and blasts Kevin Knight with the hidden blade for the 1-2-3. Again, and I didn't talk about a lot of the match, but there were some things like Kevin Knight was getting cheered. They were dueling chants for Ospreay and Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight was showing out this entire match as expected because it's Kevin Knight, and he just looked like $1 million in loss. Like, this was his first pay-per-view in AEW. He's very used to big spots because he's been wrestling in Tokyo Dome. He's wrestled in big places in New Japan, but this is his first American pay-per-view, and he just knocked it out of the park. Prophet, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is his second showcase. Like, the first one was with him and Jay White.
Yep.
What better two guys to show your stuff with than Jay White and Will Ospreay, right? And he knocked it out of the park both times. This match in particular, like, when I was doing cardio this morning at the gym, I was watching this match again.
Ooh.
And it's even better the second time. Those two they really went at it, and Ospreay did everything in his power to make sure Kevin Knight shined.
Mm-hmm.
And, Kevin Knight, he did everything he could to shine, and also, did everything he could to, also put Ospreay over. So it was great all around. And I'm glad it was the first match, because that match was really high energy. This set the stage for what is the rest of the pay-per-view.
It was a great match. Kevin Knight is a star. It's official. AEW, he came from New Japan. I watched him as a young lion. So I've seen basically his whole career. So it's very nice to see him in this spot doing what he's doing. He has a bright future in not only AEW, but professional wrestling.
Oh yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember from when I saw him and Kushida tagging in TNA. Well,
mm-hmm.
So yeah, and they were amazing over there. Yeah, Kevin Knight. If you're sleeping on him, don't sleep on him no more. He's here.
Yeah, you can't anymore at this point.
Yeah. There's no way. Not after that performance, there's no way.
God, no. But now we are moving on to our next match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. We had our challengers, the Learning Tree, Big Bill, Brian Keith, versus the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin.
Mm-hmm.
MVP went on commentary for this one.
For a second.
Then he had to get up. He had to lock in. This match was, in a way, a showcase not only for Big Bill, but we got a little bit of Brian Keith here too. Yeah. Because if anyone was getting beat up by this entire situation, Big Bill was also, but Bounty Hunter was getting real hurt in this. MVP wouldn't even let him talk. And MVP did give him a little bit of respect near the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
But as expected, there was a little bit more offense because Big Bill is Big Bill. You're not just going to be able to beat him down. Big Bill had taken on Lashley and Shelton. Brian Keith was doing his thing also. Brian Keith definitely did get a little bit more beat up in this one. They focus on him a lot more. As expected. Hazing, yeah. It was never really close, but this was definitely like the most offense that someone has put in against the Syndicate so far. And as you know, they hurt people. Of course, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin with the combination of a German suplex and then Bobby Lashley's spear covered Brian Keith, and still your AEW Tag Team Champions, the Hurt Syndicate. There are a couple of things in here. Like the only other spot that I really want to talk about a lot is Shelton Benjamin going up to the heavens to hit a knee on Big Bill. Like he had to jump like a story and a half to get up there. They had 2 flights of stairs, but he did it. Prophet, do you have any thoughts on this match?
Yeah, actually, this match is kind of interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had the one thing, because on the outside, Lashley was kind of getting handled by Big Bill until MJF punched Big Bill in the head.
Oh, yeah, I didn't talk about that part. That's right, because
with the dynamite diamond ring.
Yeah, I don't like MJF, so I didn't even think about that part. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, I completely forgot about that part.
And actually, this match kind of showed a little crack in the armor for the Hurt Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Because showing somebody that's all, big man, like a legit big man, like Big Bill, can, do some damage to them, can interrupt them, can disrupt them, disrupt their flow, which kind of falls in line with what I said a couple of weeks ago about, the legit teams that can possibly take out the Syndicate. One being the Murder Machines. That's literally like big ass Lance Archer and Brian Cage. And those guys are legit strong. It's going to be interesting when that match finally happens, right?
Yeah.
But I thought it was fun. They hazed Keith. They beat up Brian Keith a lot. They hazed him. They were just bringing him in. He's like, yeah, you're a professional now.
I think I know I didn't talk about it, but the MJF thing is kind of interesting because Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin were not happy that MJF did what he did.
Oh yeah, they were pissed.
Yeah, they're not happy at all. It helped them win the match, but they were not having it.
Yeah, they were pissed, and then they locked in on Brian Keith, and then they just destroyed him.
Mm-hmm. MVP on commentary wasn't too keen on that either. He was like, it's MJF. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. But overall, I thought it was a fun match. It was Big Bill was he was showcased a lot during this match. I do hope him and Brian Keith continue to tag, but I could also see them like splitting up and like doing their own thing. Because Big Bill now has his own theme music, so and Brian Keith has his own shit now. So it's like, it's inevitable that they're gonna all eventually split up.
The Jericho already kind of teased it a little bit last week, right? Saying like, you guys, or 2 weeks ago, like, you guys have done nothing. All you guys have been doing is losing. So go prove it to me. And now that Jericho lost and they lost, like I said, just let them split up. We don't have to talk about Learning Tree anymore. We don't need a segment like we did with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Sweep it under the rug, like the Nightmare Factory, like the Nightmare Collective, whatever they were called. And let's just move on. Next up, we have our first Owen Hart's women's tournament match. We have a quarterfinals match between the CEO, Mercedes Mone, and Julia Hart. Very good match between these two. There were like a couple little things here and there. One thing that I actually liked was that Mercedes tried to do her DDT off the corner, but she missed the rope. So Julia was like, I'm going to go old school on your bitch ass, and went up on the ropes and did old school. Again, a lot of stuff happens in matches. This was a very good match. Again, as per usual, y'all know the drill. Mercedes did take the win. Also, while giving Julia Hart probably one of her best matches in AEW. Shocking. Mercedes, people hate Mercedes that she can't wrestle. And look, giving everyone their best matches. But, whatever. Again. Mercedes has been hitting, like you said, I think you were like, these aren't lung blowers. So I think it was you. But Mercedes was hitting like a couple of those lung blowers, got a couple of those what are they called? The backstabbers. Mercedes had to work in this one because Julie was not giving it to her for free. Mm-hmm. But either way, Mercedes did win this. While we had a couple of women in the back watching, one specifically, the ROH World Champion, Athena, was backstage watching on the monitor. But we had a couple people watching. Like there were a few people. Chris Att was watching also. There were eyes on this match. But Mercedes goes up to the semifinals, where she will be facing either Harley Cameron or Athena.
Or she'll be facing Athena.
What are your thoughts on the match, Prophet?
So this was a very good match. And here's one of the reasons why. As the match was going, the people got more and more invested. This
Yeah.
happened in both women's matches, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually chanting, they were chanting for Julia at the end. They were cheering for her to get out, of the I always want to call it the bank statement. It's not the bank statement anymore. To get out of the submission, and everybody, they just like it just ramped up, and then they got to the roaring point, right? Which that's what you want. Yeah, it was great showing by both women. Julia Hart, still showing that she's improving every time she gets in the ring, and that she's still young too. So it's like she also has a bright future, in pro wrestling just in general. And what do you say about Mercedes Moné? Mercedes Moné did once again showed everybody why she's why she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Nah, no women's wrestlers, one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Hell yeah.
Right? She came out there. She sold like a champ for Julia Hart. Made her look great, and also look great doing all of her stuff too. And the match just came out. Yeah, it came out fantastic. So again, congrats both ladies, and yeah, this match was really really fun.
I wanna add to your point for Julia really quick. Julia
Uh-huh.
might be one of the best and most improved wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Julia went from a cheerleader that could barely wrestle to TBS champion who had a very good reign, got hurt, came back like barely missed a step, and she has just been just on a roll. And her going with the Hounds was honestly one of the best calls the AEW could have done, and it was just she impresses every time she's out there, like just fantastic.
Yeah, it was that thing, right? I likened it to when who was it? When Wheeler Yuta broke away from the fucking best friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
She pretty much had that same thing where she broke away from Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, and and joined the House of Black. That's where she started taking off, and also she was one of those wrestlers that every time Dark and Dark Elevation was on, she was on both of them, grinding every week. Oh yeah, that's why her record, if you look at her record, is ridiculous.
Because she was wrestling.
Yeah, she was in there getting those reps. So, and fruits of labor, you see it now. So yeah, you can't improve if you don't wrestle, right? I can
Tell
say that about somebody, but I ain't gonna say it.
No, I mean we get on that person a lot. We won't
Yeah,
do it today.
I'm not gonna do it today. Maybe next week after WrestleMania, but still.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Julia Hart, she's great. She's super improved, and there's other women in the division doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Harley Cameron, Queen Amanada, just to name a couple. They just improved leaps and bounds. I want to see Queen Amanada go to do a Japan tour and then come back.
I do too. Like, hope she's injured right now. Hopefully, she won't. Doesn't sound like she's gonna be out for that long. With like, she has like a little wrist issue, so hopefully she won't be out for that long. But we should see her pretty soon. She could. I don't think they announced anything for the 5-star for Stardom yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they did. I have to double check. But if they haven't, Queen Amina is definitely like one up there that could do wonders doing Japan tour. Like we saw what happened
Yeah.
to NJ. So
Yep.
it works.
So yeah. Last thoughts. The match between her and Mercedes was great. Between Julia and Mercedes was great. They both showed out, and Mercedes moved on. So can't wait to see what's going to happen next.
Athena is about to go crazy. Well, if Athena can pass Harley Cameron, we don't know if Athena can beat Harley Cameron yet. But
Uh-huh.
if she does, then we get Mercedes and Athena, like we've been waiting for. That disclaimer. I know Harley ain't Athena, but some people are like, "Oh, you never know." We do know. This is one of those ones where you can be 100% confident that Harley is not going to beat it.
But they could swerve us. I don't know why they would, but they could.
I don't know. Next up, we have our World Trios Championship match between challengers Rada FCR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, Adam Copeland, aka Cope, against the Death Riders, Claudio, Pac, Wheeler Yuta. Y'all know who they are at this point. I don't want to talk about the match. I'm not gonna lie, I think the match is pretty good, but realistically, we're here for like what was going on between Dax and Cope during the match. Like Dax stole a tag from Cope. Cope maliciously and viciously ran into Dax Harwood while he was in the corner with no help from Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta didn't push him or anything like that. Nothing like that happened at all. Just Cope decided to attack Dax for no reason. Not really sure why he did that, but that's what happened. You can look it up yourself. That's what happened. Wheeler Yuta pins Dax Harwood again for the 1-2-3 for the Death Riders to retain the World Trios Championships. And then nothing else happened. After Adam Copeland's malicious assault on Dax Harwood that forced Dax to lose this match, Adam Copeland decides to put his deceptive ass hand out to Dax Harwood while Dax is a little upset. Dax grabs his hand, grabs Cash. He gets up like he did on Collision. And they're kind of looking. They give a little hug. They do their thing. And then, very justified, Dax grabs Copeland and hits him with a very nasty pile driver.
Hey, that was a beautiful pile driver.
It looked like Copeland's spine compressed about a half inch. Yeah. Like, it was gnarly.
Yeah, Cope. That pile driver was nasty. And then, then hit him with the shatter machine. And then...
But before that, Cash was a little upset. He's like, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? He kind of pushed him, and then he thought about it for a second. He looked at Cope. He picked up Cope. He was like, I don't know why Dax did that. I don't know why he was doing what he was doing. And then sets him up for the shatter machine. Then FTR, looking the most like interesting they've looked in a year and a half, did 2 concertos on Cope. Cope was passed out. The medical team trying to come in to grab Cope, grabs the neck brace, puts it on himself, and then gets on the gurney and acting like he's dead. And then he throws and they knock over the gurney, and FTR goes off. Rain of boos. Heel FTR is officially back. And immediately we're a lot more interesting than they've been in a long time. Prophet, what are your thoughts on the match and the after effects?
You know what? The match was whatever. I like the after effect.
Yeah.
The after effect was my favorite part. Sorry, Cope, but you had it coming. You delayed the guys for 4 months, and you took all these title shots and you lost them all.
Yep.
At their benefit, and they were helping you out. Maybe you should have won, Cope.
You talk about someone who did nothing wrong. Dax did nothing wrong.
Dax did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He was 100% right in what he did. He was just frustrated, man. Would you get frustrated if you're helping somebody try to get a world title shot while, holding back what you want to do and get your tag team titles?
That's exactly what Dax said. Dax was like, I want us to go back to being FTR, and I want us to go after the tag championships. We haven't in a while. It's time. And Cash is like, I want to be with my friend. And look how that went. They lost another title shot.
Yeah, I kind of think that was a setup, though.
It really feels like it now, huh?
It really feels like Cash was like, yeah, let's go for the trios. And we're totally going to lose this, and we're going to just destroy Cope. It was a contingency between him and Dax who were like, yo, if we lose this, we're fucking up Cope.
Oh, yeah. I think a very interesting thing that's going to come out of this. And I guess we have to give a warning now. We are fantasy booking. I am going to fantasy book what I think is going to happen at All In. This is not saying that this is going to happen. This is just something that I think may happen. Right now, Nick Wayne is kind of doing his own thing also, right? Like, he got into Christian's face a little bit earlier, and Christian's kind of been gone for a couple weeks. Copeland right now is at rock bottom. He lost his friends. Like, FTR attacked the shit out of Copeland. Copeland's probably going to be out for a little bit also. This is probably the closest that we have ever been to seeing Cope and Christian finally tag teaming together. And I think that feels like where they want to go for All In. And I don't see, the only path I see right now is the patriarchy turning on Christian, which feels like it's going to happen already.
Yeah, the patriarchy turning on Christian. Nick Wayne pretty much already alluded to this. He's like, hey, when the time is right, stuff's going to go down. And that's why he keeps showing, like, hey, this is what happens when a perfect plan comes up. So,
Mm-hmm.
and he's probably going to have the crew jump. Like, him and the whole crew and maybe even Luchasaurus just beat the hell out of Christian.
I can see it.
Who knows? I can see it. Again, we're fantasy booking here, guys.
Yeah.
Don't take it as gospel.
Thank you. We got to remind them sometimes. You know how the fantasy bookers are right now. We got to remind them.
Got to remind them. But yeah, I could see that possibly happening. Like that'd be pretty fun. And then he's like, "Yo, I need my only friend Cope." And then we get Cope and Christian fighting the new patriarchy or whatever they're going to be called.
Mm-hmm.
And then possibly tagging up to get maybe go on a tag team title run like that run that the Hardys were supposed to get, but one Hardy can't keep out of drugs. But anyways,
Cage and Christian have definitely proved that they can wrestle.
Yes.
There's no look. I know a lot of people are very down on Cope right now, and I get it. I fully understand it because like a little bit of the stuff that he's been doing has not been great. But honestly, if we're gonna be completely real, he has helped steer the Death Rider story in a very better place than it was before he was involved with the title. So I know people are kind of like iffy on him. I don't really see it. I get it. I fully understand. If you're not into that like slower style, I get it. But Cope is doing really good work right now, and so is Christian.
Yeah, like hold on. Hold on. That was triggered the shit out of me. Cope is excellent, dude. Right now. Like he's been like, yes, he was in that Death Rider story and stuff like that, but he didn't really miss in the Death Rider story.
Like I said, I'd argue that like I know right now everyone is like really bigging Swerve because they feel like Swerve is the one that kind of made this a little bit more interesting. But really, if you really want to look at it, it was Cope. That story with him taking out the Death Riders one by one was the most interesting thing that the Death Riders have done since killing Rampage.
Yeah, because like he was the only one that actually went at them, right? Like everybody else was like, I'm gonna fight the Death Riders, and then they forgot there's like 5 Death Riders,
and
they're all gonna swarm the ring during a title match. Cope is like, no, I'm gonna take all of you out and make sure none of you get to the ring. He did the smart thing, right? Like out of everybody, he did the smartest thing. But like besides the Death Rider stuff, everything Cope has done up to this point has been fantastic.
Oh yeah, like I'm with you. Like I'm telling you, I feel like right now, like the internet fans who don't go to shows ever are the ones who are freaking out about Copeland and freaking out about like the stuff that's going on. But people who actually go to shows and actually watch shows are very invested in what's going to happen. Like right now, this screams we're finally getting Cope and Christian.
Yeah.
Right? Because
we're getting close to it.
We're getting close to it. Like right now, like that is, again, we're fantasy booking. That right now feels like a good next step because now not only does Christian have help against the patriarchy or whatever they're going to be, now Cope will also have help against FTR. And it just feels like I don't know if we're gonna get like some hodgepodge collaboration between FTR and the patriarchy. I don't think so. But now those two have a very big enemy force to go up against, and it's just they've been wanting to work together, and now after a year and a half, longer than that, we're finally going to get. It feels like we're finally going to get them working together, and it's going to be fantastic. And like you said, I think this is going to be the equivalent to how Sting was on his way out. And I'm not saying either of them are on the way out. I'm not saying that at all.
No, they're not even close.
Not even close. But this is like the equivalent of that. This is going to be something that like a lot of older fans are going to love, and people who didn't really get to see like WWE Edge and Christian will be able to see how great they are as a tag team and what they do. And it's this is one of those nostalgia things that I'm really for because I also loved Edge and Christian. So seeing Cope and Christian together when they're actually Cope and Christian is just going to be great.
Yeah. And we're going to get stop photography too. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, they're gonna pull out. Look, if they do get back together, they're gonna pull out all the old tricks and all the stops. Those two can easily also have a nice little 2-month reign as AEW World Tag Team Champions. Easy.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I see a tag team title reign. That, not to shit on the Hardys, but it's the tag team reign that the Hardys would have gotten if one of the Hardys would have not decided to take drugs, okay, and go to the ring, like, or miss a show, right? Like, you can depend on Cope and Christian. They're professionals, and they can actually still wrestle, and they can at least walk to the fucking ring. So
exactly.
You know what? I was trying not to do that.
Nah, it's fine.
But
I feel like if you see the Hardys, that's not like a dig. It's just a fact of life right now.
Yeah, the Hardys piss me off because I like the Hardys, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just they fell so far off, man. Like, and they're doing. If you guys have watched the movie The Wrestler, that's literally what it is for Matt and Jeff Hardy right now. Yeah, and Randy. It's like two Randy the Rams, like trying to get that last little buzz.
Oh yeah,
that's at least how. Like when I see him, that's how it feels to me. But enough of them. Cope and Christian will be fantastic. Can't wait to see it, but we got to get there first. I think, and I agree with you. We're on our way there.
I would love the All-In match to be FTR versus Cope and Christian. I would love that, and we have more than enough time to build that up. More than enough. But we're gonna move on from that one. We got to talk about what could be potentially match of the night. One of two. We have to talk about the AEW Women's World Championship. We have challenger Megan Bayne versus Rocky Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Entrance-wise, Toni Storm comes out very Philly, very Rocky Balboa. Fantastic. It was like fantastic. Toni Storm is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Megan Bayne, with a lot of help from Penelope Ford, controlled like 85% of this match. Megan Bayne looked like a unstoppable force to the point where I was even like, oh my God, is she going to win the title? They had convinced me halfway through that, oh my God. Like even when Toni was rallying to try to get some offense in, and Toni did get offense in, don't get me wrong. Megan Bayne, again, with the help of Penelope Ford, because Penelope was kind of doing her heelish thing, grabbing Toni and doing stuff like that, before Luther picked her up and took her the fuck out of there. It really felt like Megan Bayne was just going to walk off with the title.
Yeah. Well, shit. Even after he took her out of there, Megan Bayne was literally Bane.
She was still on one. It was like she didn't even need Penelope cheating for her. She was still in control.
She didn't need Penelope Ford there at all.
There was a specific point in the match where once this happened, I was convinced that Megan Bayne was going to win. Megan Bayne took like 2 or 3 hip attacks. I think it was like 2.
No, it was 3.
It was 3. 3 very hard hip attacks. And then got up and it got Storm zeroed and kicked out at 1. And I was like, oh my God, Megan Bayne's going to win the title. That's it. That's it. Like 3 hip attacks and a Storm zero, and you kick out like it's nothing. Like, oh my God, I just could not. But the underdog story, Timeless Toni Storm was able to reverse a face descent with an inside cradle, a small package for the 1, 2, 3. And Toni Storm steals the win from Megan Bayne and is still your AEW World Champion. What are your thoughts, Prophet?
Okay, I'm just going to flat out say it. This was my favorite match of the night. This was my favorite match of the night. Those ladies like put on a clinic, man. They really, and again, it was another one of those matches where as the match went on, people got even more and more and more. If they were invested in the beginning, they were even more invested by the end of it.
Oh, they were raucous near the end.
Yeah, they were going crazy. So The interesting thing about this, like, even Tony Storm's, I love how Tony Storm, when she does stuff, she gives subtle hints about like what she's, what is it? Like, she gives subtle hints about the thing she is portraying, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yes, she was portraying, she, came in with the thing with Rocky Balboa, but do you know which Rocky it was from?
Wasn't it Rocky 2?
When he went against Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
The second time. So that was when Rocky won. So, like, that's when he wore the gold and black.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So that little subtle thing, which is in that movie, Rocky got his ass kicked like the whole match, and then he finally won, right? Which is what happened during this match with her and Penelope Ford. Like, you take that into account, and it all makes sense, right? But I will say, the next time they go 1-on-1. Did I say Penelope Ford? I meant Megan Bain. Jesus Christ!
No, you're fine. You're fine.
The next time her and Megan Bain go at it, I don't think Tony Storm walks out the champ.
No, I don't think so.
I think she goes out, and Megan Bain's going to be they go 1-on-1 again. Megan Bain's the new champ.
There is like a weird potential because, again, we have another pay-per-view between this. I don't think they're gonna do this, but if they want to do a title change before All In, they could. I don't think they will.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. I don't either. But there is a potential. It's there. I don't think Megan Bain challenges Tony Storm again, but I think the next time that she challenges for the world title, she's taking it for sure.
Right.
And I don't know who. I do think that I have a feeling. And again, we're fancy booking. We'll
put that on the screen flashing.
Yeah, fancy booking. I do feel like there is a potential for Tony to lose to whoever wins the Owen Cup. I'm going to guess that the winner, in my heart, feels like it's going to be Jamie Hayter, because I don't think Athena or Mercedes are going to win, because they're going to take each other out. Like, whoever wins the match in the semis, if Athena passes Harley, the other one's going to screw the other one in the finals.
Okay.
And Jamie goes on to beat Timeless Tony Storm not at Wembley, but at All In. And then later in the year, we're going to get Megan Bain back again. And she's just going to cause ruckus and win the world title. That's how I feel. This one's like, there's no base on this one. This is like completely left field. Like, yeah. There's nothing to even like get the idea of this. But I don't think Tony Storm leaves All In as world champion. I would love her to. Like, I don't think that it would be bad if she left, if she still continued the reign. But it definitely does feel like that we're gonna get like a couple months and it's gonna be over. To me. Yeah.
So we have very differing opinions about like the Owen, who's going to win the Owen.
Ooh, who you got?
So for one, I feel like it's going to be a title versus title match. For whoever wins, that's going to go against Tony Storm, is going to be somebody that holds a title, whether it's Athena or Mercedes. Ooh. There is the chance that one screws the other later on, like you said. I pretty much agree with that scenario, which would lead to them going against each other at All In. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like they're gearing it up, and I'm going to say Athena is going to win the Owen. And it's going to be, the finals is going to be Athena and Jamie Hayter. And this is just coming from like when Athena was talking during the pre-show, who she'd want to go against. And it was first name she came out with, she wanted to go against Jamie Hayter.
Oh yeah. I want that match too.
We all want that match. I want Athena versus everybody on the other bracket, the other side of the bracket too. So I do think Athena is going to win. That's just my thought.
I can see it. It feels like no matter what, the women's Owen is just a lot more unpredictable than the men's Owen is right now. That's how it feels.
Yeah.
Because legitimately, you can have Mercedes win. You can have Athena win. You have Jamie Hayter win. You can have
Chris Statlander win.
You can have Stat win. You can have Thunder Rosa win. Uh-huh. And all those are very worthy competitors to wrestle at All In for the world championship.
Yeah. They're all former champions.
Like, literally. anything could happen. Honestly, you could even put Julia there too. Like, I know at this point she's already out, but
Yeah.
Julia definitely would not have been like out of bounds there either.
No, not at all.
Like, there are honestly, I'm gonna be real. Like, I know, I feel like Harley might not be there yet, but Harley might have like a fantastic match at All In also if they really want to put her there. I don't think they will, but like all the women in there, Billy Starks, the only one I haven't mentioned yet. Billy Starks could also easily do it.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is the women's Owen is just so stacked that we can literally sit here and make a scenario for all of them. And it is likely that a majority of the women who win the Owen could also beat Toni Storm for the world championship.
Yep.
Like, it's easy. So like, it's so crazy because your scenario could happen, my scenario could happen. Hell, it could be Chris Statlander. Chris Statlander wins the big one finally. Like, it could be anything. And that's why the women's Owen to me is so much more interesting right now than the men's.
Yeah. Well, we also have that scenario too. Billy Starks is on the other side of the bracket, right?
Yeah.
So it could be Billy and Athena, or it could be Billy Starks and Mercedes again.
Anything. As much as I love Harley, I don't think is going to go. Harley ain't beating Athena. That's not going to happen. It's going to be a fun match. Not going to happen. But like, any of the other women had the potential to just go have a banger at All In, like, easily. Like, that's no question. But yeah, going back to Megan Bayne though. Megan Bayne, for sure, it feels like the next time she wrestles for the title against whoever it is, it feels like she's going to take it.
Yeah. Yeah, she's gonna win. It's inevitable.
Or if they do tag titles, Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford could also be the inaugural tag champions also. Like, there's a lot they could do.
Yep, there's a lot.
And I'm at the point right now where, as much as I don't like AEW still not giving that many women's matches consistently, I feel like they would it might be good for them to have tag titles, because the way they book the women's championships is they do a lot more feuds with the women's championships. Like, the women do have feuds, don't get me wrong, but right, there are more like long-standing feuds for the titles. So throw some women's tag titles in there, we're gonna get some damn good matches. Just, I wasn't on board before, I'm on board now. Let's get these popping. Let's do something.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, seeing that tag match last week with Thunder and Toni Storm and Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, I was like, watching that match, I was like, okay, yeah, they need tag titles. They need some type of tag team division.
If they were dope, like we talked about already, tag title tournament winner to the finals happens at All In. Like, it's right there. If they really want to do it, it's right there.
Yep.
But we have gushed enough. I feel like we could definitely gush more about not only this match, but the women's division.
Oh, yeah. Well, we almost do it every week. So
at this point,
if you're new to the channel, welcome. And you'll probably hear this again next week.
For sure. Because we got the Owen. We got whatever's going to be happening with Mercedes. We have whatever's going to be happening with Athena. We have whatever Tony's going to do next for the world title. Like, there will be another gush session for sure. Yep. But now we go from a world title match to an Owen Hart tournament match. Our final Owen match of the night. Guaranteed banger also, because these two, they just have that chemistry. We have, in the quarterfinals, the protostar, Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. And what I'm about to say right now, I don't mean this by any flack to anyone, but I saw a couple people saying like this is most likely going to be like the weaker match of the card. And if you don't watch AEW, I fully understand why you say that, because it was also added last minute. I fully understand it, but if you haven't seen the other Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe matches,
that almost triggered me.
Yeah.
For the second time.
I was on Blue Sky a lot more than I normally am for pay-per-views, because I was on the account and I got to see what people were saying. And let me tell you, I got annoyed, but that neither here nor there. But I saw people saying like, oh, this might be the weakest match because people weren't expecting anything. I don't know why they weren't. This is their fourth match. They have had bangers. All three of the matches have been fantastic, and this is no exception. Like, this match probably the best of all four. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, easily.
because these two went to war. They went to war. We had a couple people watching backstage. Takeshi was watching backstage. I believe one other person watching backstage, but we had a couple more people from the Owen watching this from backstage. I don't even know how to do this one because they did so much. They basically killed each other for about 15 minutes. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, however long that was. Kyle Fletcher does win this match with that turnbuckle brainbuster. I don't think he has a name for it yet. I don't know if there's a name for it yet, but he hit Briscoe with it for the win. And like I said, I'm not talking about a lot about the match. It was a very back and forth match. A lot happened. These two tried to kill each other. There were chairs, a lot of crazy, like Kyle Fletcher power bombing Mark Briscoe on the guardrail. Oh my god. Shit. What else? I can talk about a lot of things. But either way, Kyle Fletcher wins. Kyle Fletcher is moving on to the semifinals, and he is going to be, I forget what side of the bracket is on. He's going to be wrestling either, I forget who is on the other side of the bracket now. It's spacing to me right now.
I think, let's see. I think he has the winner of.
Was it Hangman and the wild card?
Yeah, I think he has a winner of the Hangman and wild card, because on the other side, it's Takeshita
and Brody, right?
King.
Yeah. There we go. Thank you. Like it was on my mind, and it just escaped me. It just disappeared. But yeah, Takeshita Fletcher is going to wrestle the winner of Hangman and the wild card, which again we talked about a little bit earlier in the show. The wild card has become even more interesting with the addition of the Bucks back into AEW. Briscoe is out, but Mark Briscoe again showed out. Even commentary was talking about like how Mark was saying for a majority of his career that he wanted to be one of the best tag team wrestlers of all time. Like he wasn't really tripping about being the single star. Like he really wasn't. If you watched him in Ring of Honor before, you know he wasn't. Like Jay definitely went off and stepped on his own and became a single star. Mark didn't really want to, but Mark has been showing, especially over the last year, the last 6 months specifically, that he has the potential. Like he's built himself up as a fantastic singles wrestler. And then Fletcher, what can you say about Kyle Fletcher at this point? Like he is anointed as the next guy. He is on that tier right now. Like Kyle Fletcher is also just on another level, and it's just he looks incredible. So we'll see what happens with him. We'll see where he goes next. See who he'll face in the Owen next. But that's really it. Prophet, do you have any thoughts?
That match was fantastic, man. I don't know what people are tripping about. At the end, when before he hit the brainbuster, he literally ran and kicked him like 3 times.
That running kick that he does, my god,
yeah, like full speed, man. He was just he just starts screaming and just kicks him, dude. Like he did it like I think he did it twice. But man, he went full speed, and then we can go up for that brainbuster. But man, 2 of my favorites in the ring. If you guys listen to the podcast, I'm a big fan of Kyle Fletcher. Called out his rise a while back, but I also love me some Mark Briscoe, man, because he goes in there and he's that guy that you can't help but to cheer for him because he's always in it and he's always giving 100% every time he goes in there. And he's always super fun to watch. So, which made this match really, really damn fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I think both guys just let it all out there because they knew, like, they pretty much knew what a lot of you jerks were saying, that it was like this was going to be the weakest match when it wasn't.
Not even close.
They were going to, and they do what they do. They showed out, and so props to both of those guys.
It was a fantastic match. We just talked about it. The women's tournament is more interesting than the men's tournament, but we still have like a couple little things here. Like it depends on who the wild card is for Hangman, right? Like that is the determining factor. But no matter what, this feels like an Ospreay win for All In. It just screams Ospreay right now, and I don't think we're gonna get Ospreay Fletcher again. So it just feels like no matter what, it feels like Fletcher's gonna lose this next match again. Fantasy booking. I think we just have to do that from now on. I feel like I don't think we have a choice.
We just, instead of us mentioning fantasy booking, we'll just have flash it red on the screen or something. I don't know.
I'm actually gonna have to like sit down and put fantasy booking on here every time now. I think I'm not gonna have a choice. I might not have a choice. We might have to do that. But honestly, it definitely does feel like I don't think we're gonna get Fletcher in the finals. I would love that, but I don't think we're gonna run Fletcher and Ospreay again right now. They could. They easily could. I don't think they will though. So I'm going to assume that Hangman and Ospreay is the main event, or not the main, the finals, with Ospreay winning. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm not fully sure on that one though, to be honest.
All right. Here's my fantasy book that just like completely fucked people up.
Uh-huh.
Let it be Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita finals. A Don Callis match, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Both of his guys get to the finals.
It would be a possibility.
We won't hear the end of it from Don Callis, but still.
Yeah, his two gods professional wrestling going up against each other.
Literal gods of professional wrestling. Oh man.
Also, before we move on, I need to give a shout out to Takeshita, because this lunatic, he wrestled a really good match against Oiwa at Sakura Genesis on like Friday night, Saturday morning in Japan, right?
Yep.
So in about like 36 hours, he went from Japan to Philly to be backstage for Dynasty. So shout out to Takeshita, world traveler. Also, again, that match with Oiwa was a very good match. It was fun. It was a really good match. And now Takeshita has also made history in New Japan. He has now successfully defended the Never Openweight Championship more than anyone in history.
Wait, really?
Yep. The Never Openweight Championship is one of the Never division, basically, is one of the most volatile divisions in all of New Japan. And the record, he had to get 5 defenses, and he has 5 defenses. That's how you know it's volatile.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Takeshita. Congratulations. We are going to move on. We already talked about Jericho and Bandito, but this is where that match happened. It was here. So we're going to skip over that because we're not going to talk about it again at some point. And we're going to talk about the TNT Championship match.
Okay.
No time limit. No outside interference, which I don't think it really mattered too much. I feel like this is going to happen anyway. I mean, it happened, right? Like, they didn't have to do no time limit because I don't think it was even over 20 minutes. Yeah. But we had champion Daniel Garcia versus challenger Adam Cole, baby. This match had a little bit slower pace, but this is how all the matches have been kind of going, right? They definitely started building up near the end, but it was a very fun match to watch. It was very nice coming away from Bandito and Jericho and seeing this. Garcia kind of healed it up a little bit, not too much. He wasn't really trying to be a heel, but he was kind of being a little vicious. Adam Cole at one point did jump off the apron and fuck up his ankle, quote unquote, fuck up his ankle. Even though he was still doing like super kicks and Panama Sunrise and stuff like that, and every once in a while he would sell the ankle. But you know, it's like Danielson's neck and Omega's stomach now at this point. That's just how it's going to be. Garcia was attacking the ankle a little bit, but to no avail. It did not matter. Adam Cole hit a Panama Sunrise, hit the boom, and pinned Garcia to become your new TNT champion. And he has finally held his first title in All Elite Wrestling. Prophet, what are your thoughts?
This feels pretty good, man. This feels pretty good. And, Adam Cole, coming back from that injury, doing all of his, man, it was just, it halted his, his run that he was having before to come back, get a title. It was a fun match between him and Daniel Garcia. This ain't the end of it, though. You saw the end of the match. It was kind of like Garcia was sad. He had his hand raised and he left the ring all sad and stuff, but this ain't the end of him and Garcia. Probably going to be a rubber match at the end. Garcia's probably going to be like, hey, I get my rematch clause or whatever shit, and then he loses that too. But for out of all of his title matches, I think this was like his second best one.
Yeah. Do we agree on his best? Because I agree with you that this was the second best. What do you think his best match was? I have it locked.
The 3-way.
Yeah, agreed. 3-way. Easily the best one.
Yeah, the 3-way was the best one.
I liked his one with Shibata also, but the 3-way was definitely the one.
Shibata was the number 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun match. Glad to see Adam Cole back. And Adam Cole is in full form now. He stopped eating. You know what? I ain't gonna do that body shaming shit that people were doing on him.
No.
He's back in his groove. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can see it. He's got abs, okay? Um, and you know what? He's going at full speed. He's doing his thing. Daniel Garcia was doing his thing too. He was being vicious. He was being mean. That's the Daniel Garcia I wanted to see the whole fucking time. That's what I was missing.
I think the problem, like Prophet, we have been like the ones to talk about how mediocre Dan Garcia's title run has been, right?
Yeah.
Like immediately jumping to the Owen after winning it, not Owen, immediately jumping into the C2 after winning it, and a lot of his time on screen was not fully focused on the TNT Championship. He definitely did what he could, and I feel like I don't think they're going to turn him. I think he's just going to be a little bit more vicious, and I think that's really what Garcia needs. I'm with you on that one. Like he definitely needs to be more vicious,
especially if you're called the Red Death, right? So, like, let this boy let him go in there and let him be aggressive, let him be more vicious, let him break people down, let him break people. You know, that's what he needs instead of the dancing grooving guy, doing all that shit. Nah, he needs to come in the ring serious and just rip people apart like he used to. But besides that, it's a fun match. Congrats, Adam Cole. I can't wait to see what his title reign is going to be like. Hopefully, he hits the ground running and it's all focused on the TNT title.
It's like this feels like a better way of what happened between the Syndicate and Private Party. Because Garcia ain't gonna disappear like Private Party has. Private Party is like off the face of the earth. They're gone right now. We're gonna see Garcia a lot more for sure. I feel like Adam Cole is gonna have like a Syndicate type of title reign. Adam Cole's definitely gonna be wrestling a lot more. I don't think it's gonna be like we're only gonna see him wrestle on pay-per-views like the Syndicate, but we're definitely gonna see him have a little bit more matches. I would love to see the Open Challenge come back. I would love to see his custom. You know what? No, because he's a nerd. I don't want to see what his custom TNT title would be.
It's gonna be a fucking Halo belt, dude.
It's gonna be a Halo belt.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. That should be kind of sick.
He might do The Witcher. He was dressed up as Geralt from The Witcher.
Yeah. No, I think he's gonna have a fun reign. But I just want one guy to come back. I want him to be healthy and well and be able to come back into the ring.
Say his name. Who am I?
I am Keith Lee.
Yes.
I want him to come back so bad, man. Like, I miss that guy, dude. Like, especially Adam Cole has that TNT title. We could recreate that magic of that him and Adam Cole had in NXT when he had the North American title and Keith Lee fucking launched him.
All the pounces, that one very viral pounce where he pounces him into the crowd.
Yeah, it was so good. I mean, I need it. Okay, besides that, I just need Keith Lee to come back. I want him to be healthy, though. So I want him to be nice, healthy, and good to go. So when he comes back, nothing's going to impede his tear that he's going to do.
We got to do it every time now, I guess. Fancy booking. But I definitely do. I would love to see Keith Lee come back. And if I had a choice on how he should come back, it feels like the obvious monster heel. I've been gone. Everyone has surpassed me, but y'all are going to remember who the fuck I am type of run. But again, first and foremost, be healthy, because I know when he had COVID, that completely messed him up. Like, I know he has been dealing with the effects. Well, I don't know, but it feels like he's just been dealing with a lot of things since having COVID. As much as I would love to see Keith Lee come back and do his thing and wrestle as he should, as long as he lives a healthy life, I will be happy. But if he's able to come back, I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready too. Hear that? Who am I? Yeah. No, I'd lose my shit.
Wouldn't it be funny if he came back on Wednesday? Like, they were waiting for Adam Cole to win the title and he just comes back on Wednesday?
He's like, Adam Cole, I see you got a title. That's my title.
Remember the last time he had a title and I was around? Remember what happened last time? Yeah.
Or he just comes out as the wild card. Who knows?
Ooh, Hangman versus Keith Lee? Oh my God. What if Keith Lee was part of the Elite because of that?
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Oh my God. I will take Keith Lee coming back in anyway. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, put him anywhere. I don't care.
Oh, man.
Hurt Syndicate Lee? Yeah, I don't care.
God, Keith Lee can go wherever he wants to go. He will make anything work. You know what I really want more than anything? I know him and Swerve have had problems. I fully understand it. But if Swerve can find a way to link up and have like at least a cordial relationship with Hangman, he should be able to hang with Keith Lee again. And if Keith Lee can come back and be in Anarchy in the Arena, side to side with Keith Lee or side to side with Swerve, that would make me go to Arizona. I'm not gonna lie. I would make the trip.
Oh.
But you have any other thoughts on this one before we move on to what is going to be our final match that we're talking about for the night?
So, just overall, it was a fun match. Glad to see Adam Cole got his first title, and can't wait to see where the TNT title goes.
Next up, we have to talk about, it's not the main event, but it's the last match that we're going to talk about. Again, if this is your match of the night, fully understandable.
Yeah, totally understandable.
Fully understandable. We have our AEW International Championship match between champion, the god of pro wrestling, Kenny Omega, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Bald Ricochet.
God damn it. All you haters all you guys hating on bald people. You know what? Fuck you guys. I shaved my head bald last night. Fucking assholes. Yes, I'm bald, god damn it.
I think we're going to talk about the match. We're for sure going to talk about the match. But Ricochet lately has been on people's hair, and it's been hilarious. Like on Collision when he was coming out, there was this dude that had like a AEW Hire Me sign. That's not important. But he had like this like a lot of hair, and Ricochet was like, look at him, look at this guy. Like jerk. And then coming out to the ring for Dynasty, there was like a child that had like a ton of hair, and he was like, child. It just, he's playing into it now, and it's hilarious. Also, it's hilarious that Ricochet is so good at what he's doing right now that the only thing that the crowd can get on him about is being bald. Nothing else. You can't talk about his wrestling, can't talk about his promos, can't talk about anything. It's the fact that he is bald. That is it.
Well, the funny thing was commentary when they were talking about, the crowd was doing the bald chant. Like, I think it was Excalibur. He's like, yeah, I think they're talking about Don Callis.
It's funny. The Ricochet has just kind of like just taken that in. And before we even talk about the match, Ricochet, despite the fact of Speedball Mike Bailey going crazy and Kenny Omega also going crazy, Ricochet feels like the MVP of this match.
Oh, by far. Yeah, he was the glue. He was the glue
for sure. Speedball went crazy. Kenny went crazy. Everyone had all their moments, but those in between moments, Ricochet just took over and just he was just fantastic. Start off this match. This was a damn match. God, I don't even know. They had a lot of really interesting spots in here. They had like a lot of double pins near at one point where they were trying to everyone was trying to roll each other up. That was fun. There was the Ricochet goes over and takes Tony Schiavone's headset and he's talking shit to us because the crowd can't hear it. We can hear it. And Speedball Mike Bailey comes in and kicks him, and it has already been memed to hell already. Like the we'll be right back. The Ricochet's face is Sunday, and Mike Bailey's foot is Monday. Like people have been going crazy with that meme already. Just meme potential out the wazoo. Kenny Omega did a double snapdragon on both Ricochet and Mike Bailey. A lot happened in this match. But yeah, we will go to the end. Prophet, I know you're going to talk more about the match too, so I'm just going to get to the end. I'm going to let you do your thing. But to end the match, Kenny Omega and Speedball and Ricochet are all in one corner. They're kind of like jockeying for position. They're trying to fight, right? Eventually, Kenny Omega is able to pick up Ricochet, put him on his shoulders. After a little bit of fighting, Mike Bailey tried to, do some stuff. He really couldn't because Mike Bailey also, his knee looked like it exploded during this match.
A couple of times.
Selling his ass off. I almost thought he actually got hurt for a minute. I don't think he did, but he is sore for sure.
Yeah, he's probably sore. Like when he did when he tried to do the Ultimate Weapon on the apron, and you heard that loud smack, how loud thud. I was like, ooh.
His knees popped up and popped out. Like it did not look great. But yeah, he was selling the knee for the entire time after this point. Kenny Omega has Ricochet on his shoulders and does an avalanche one-wing angel while Mike Bailey's still on the turnbuckle, and Mike Bailey's trying to reach out to try to stop the pin, but it's the one-wing angel. Especially the avalanche version, you're not kicking out. Only one who can is Kota Ibushi. Like that's how it's going to be. I know people are trying to be like, oh, we need someone to kick out the one-wing angel. It's only going to be Kota. That's it. Sorry. That's lore from 15 years ago. Sorry. Kenny Omega, after a fantastic match, retains the International Championship. But that's not all that happened. After the match, we hear the coin drop.
Yes, sir.
And the crowd goes crazy because they know what this means. We know what this means.
We've been saying it for weeks.
Kazuchika Okada comes out and confronts Kenny. He does not stick around long. Kenny immediately evacuates the ring. He is out of there. So we get our stare down. We're getting the build. It's finally going to happen. Okada Omega 5 is going to happen. Prophet, what are your thoughts on this match and the end segment?
Okay, so for the match, there was one thing that Ricochet did that was ridiculous. It was a PWG thing. Actually, this was a PWG match.
It was a PWG ass match, yes.
There was one where I think Kenny Omega, he had Mike Bailey almost in like a DDT. No, he was about to DDT him.
Yeah.
And then Ricochet jumped up and did like a flying, almost like a cutter to the back, of Kenny Omega.
Mm-hmm.
So he hits Omega with the cutter, and Omega hits Bailey with the DDT.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that shit was so sick. Yeah, Ricochet, man, like he's come to his own now. Like he's so damn good now. Mm-hmm. He was good before, but he is amazing now. Especially his character and how he's doing everything with that. Kenny Omega is Kenny Omega. For a minute there, it looked like Kenny was maybe he was selling it or something like that. But when Ricochet and Mike Bailey were fighting for a little bit, Kenny was like gasping a little over there on the apron, and then went to the outside and things like that. So hope that wasn't like any type of injury related thing. It was just him just acting like he got hurt.
I hope so.
But and then he came in, went crazy, and they finished the match. But overall, man, this was a hell of a match. They all went for broke. They were like, you know what? We're going in. And all of them went in. And, Ricochet showed why he is so good now. Omega showed why, he's one of the best in the world. Or if not, AEW has like one of the two best wrestlers in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And then Mike Bailey is showing everybody who the hell he is.
Bailey
on a bigger stage.
Speedball was in his bag this match. He pulled out everything. We saw Ultimate Weapon. We saw kicks. Everything from Mike Bailey we saw today. Or yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm here for it because, you know what? It's long overdue. He was in TNA for a while. That smaller stage, he's now on the bigger stage in AEW. And is fantastic to see. So I'm just going to leave it with, if you guys haven't watched this match, there's a few matches you should watch. Toni Storm and Megan Bayne, Mercedes and Julia. This match, what we're talking about right now. And yeah, watch these matches, man. Especially this one too. This match was incredible. The end sequence, I popped, man. I was like, yes! When he came out, he had that aura about him. Looked like he was beefing up to 100%. He was 100% Okada was coming out. Kenny didn't want 100% Okada. He felt it, so he ran.
I mean, he's beat 100% Okada before, but this is a whole right now. Kenny is. I mean, we got to sit here and pretend like Kenny's not still Kenny, but Kenny is out here having bangers every time he steps in the ring still. So
and that match at All In is going to be fucking incredible. I cannot wait.
It's going to be so good. And like you said, Ricochet and Speedball. We talked about Kenny. We know where Kenny is at this point. Best bout machine for a reason. Ricochet and Speedball, they showed in this match why it was the best decision to make this a triple threat.
Yep, by far, man. And I'm just gonna say this: the international title division is insane.
It's literally like another world title.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's, you got, so Omega is champ, you have Ricochet, you have Mike Bailey, you have Takeshita, you have Fletcher, you have, and then anyone around the world, right? That title scene's insane.
Mm-hmm. And now, okay, I know we're running long, but I have two more questions for you. The first one is, I'm going to just ask you both back to back. The first one is, where do you see Speedball and Ricochet going next? Because they're not just going to be off TV. where do you think they're going next? And 2, do you think that Kenny and Okada is really going to be title for title combination match where the winner is just both champions?
Okay, so first question. I believe Speedball and Ricochet are going to go at it now.
Makes sense.
I feel like they have a little feud going on. It was like a little mini feud, but they caused each other to lose the title, so it's going to be a bigger feud, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to push them. Whoever the winner is, they're going to get pushed right back up to the international champion. Top. We'll say like top 2, top 3 to go for the international championship. The other thing, it's going to be title for title. Omega Okada is going to be title for title. We got to have the biggest stakes here. Like, yeah, but they can wrestle just to wrestle and keep their titles. No, God damn it. We need Omega Okada and some stakes on it. Title for title is only worthy of this match.
Yeah,
I wouldn't take it any other way.
Yeah, at this point, right? And let's be honest. We got to be very real about the Continental Championship. It definitely can be absorbed into the international, and Continental Classic can be for the international championship. I feel like as it should be at this point now. We don't. Do we need the Continental Championship rules for international? No, we don't. Keep the tournament like it is, and just let them run for the international championship. It just feels right.
Or just have it be a tournament for whoever wins. They get a shot at that title. They win the chance to get a shot at it. They have to win. They have to go through the international championship. Oh, not God damn it! They have to go through the international tournament or C2 Continental Classic. They can just win a trophy like they do in like the New Japan Cup, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Like it doesn't have to be for the
I mean, New Japan Cup does give the winner a chance at the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, though. So it's there.
That's what I'm saying. Like they get a nice trophy and a chance at the a chance at the at a title. Well, in this case, New Japan is the IWGP, but this for us for what we're talking about, if it's absorbing that title, the Continental title or Continental Championship, it could be for a chance at the international. It's just going to be called the Intercontinental Championship. Okay, yeah, that's what is. They're just going to combine it to the Intercontinental Championship.
I don't even think they're going to combine it for sure. They might just say international, so they don't have to worry about like. I don't know why it would matter, but they probably don't like. We don't want an Intercontinental Championship. We'll just keep it international. Like the both titles will be combined, and we'll just move on.
Yeah. So like whatever it's going to be called, if it's international, we'll just say International Championship. They get a shot at that after winning the tournament, after winning the C2.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a way they can go, but who knows? Like that's just like a guess and just what I feel like would happen if they combine the titles.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Like Continental Classic is one of the best things that AEW does. Just because the Continental Championship may potentially not be around anymore, does not mean you get rid of the tournament.
No, you keep the tournament because it still means a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can give it stakes. All you got to do is be like, hey, this guy gets a guaranteed title shot.
Yeah,
and there you go.
Easy. I mean, the way New Japan does tournaments, like they have 3 tournaments. Well, more than 3. They have Best of Super Juniors. They have for juniors, Best of Super Juniors and the Junior Tag League. For heavies, they have New Japan Cup. They have G1 and they have the World Tag League. So they have tournaments, right? So AEW can easily do Owen Hart World Title All In. It's been established now at this point. This is the second year it's happening. And then International Champion, World's End. I forgot what the pay-per-view is called. At World's End. You get that match there. That way you can free up the world title. Just like how the Continental Championship is still for the C2. You free up the World Championship still. They can do their thing and we can just have that. Like it feels like the easiest thing to do. Like we are both in agreement. It feels like the easiest thing in the world to do.
So yeah, we'll see.
And then after this match, this was the main event. Again, we talked about it earlier. We talked about the death. We're not doing it anymore. Profit. Do you have any thoughts on Dynasty as a whole before we wrap this one up?
Dynasty as a whole, it was fantastic pay-per-view. the bell to bell action, like no one could do bell to bell action like AEW, like an AEW pay per view. There's some times where you might get the Bandito Jericho matches, but it'll just be like one in a sea of greatness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really enjoyed the pay per view. The ending didn't bother me at all. After doing some actual critical thinking and thinking back about all the storylines that happened before and thinking about what the Bucks were doing before, and just like a simple reason of Swerve at one point in time was on the other side and screwing over the Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all that didn't bother me at all. But I also didn't come in thinking that if Swerve didn't win, the sky was going to fall, right? But yeah, it was a really fun pay per view. I enjoyed it a lot. How about you, man?
Honestly, like your thoughts were my thoughts. I can't. I would just be rambling if I talked about it more, but that's it. I didn't have a problem with the main event. I thought it was fine. Like as much as I want Swerve to win, I think it's where they're going right now is interesting. Take Moxley off the TV for a little bit and we're good. The rest of the card outside of Jericho Bandito, A plus. Like I enjoyed the show all the way through. AEW's been just on a tear, especially this year, but they've been on it since the first C2. So just they're gonna keep doing what they're doing. Hopefully we do this, and this is gonna be random, but since the Jaguars suck, Tony Khan can just not do anything for Jacksonville this season for the NFL and just focus on AEW. Because when he's on AEW and when we're on off season for NFL, he cooks. So just keep this up. The Jaguars suck. They're not going anywhere anyway, Tony Khan. You need to get rid of that long hair quarterback anyway. So y'all can rebuild, and they don't need you there for rebuilding. Just focus on AEW and do your thing. But that's really all I had. Profit, you know what to do.
All right, guys. So first thing I'm going to do is thank you guys. If you gotten this far, thank you very much. We really appreciate it when you sit and listen to these two guys talk. To us talk. Talk wrestling for a couple hours. We're very passionate about it. We love it. We know you love it. So first off, thank you very much. But I got to do something. So if you like this podcast, tap that like button. For sure helps us out. Helps out the algorithm. Tells them that a person just like you that like the show, other people just like you will like the show too. So it'll get it out there to more people. So it for sure helps us out. Subscribe, hit the bell button so you get this podcast and the two other ones. You get 3. Remember, you don't just get one podcast, you get 3. And comment, because I know this was a controversial pay-per-view. I know we probably said some things that, either agree or disagree with. It doesn't matter. Let's get a conversation going. So with that, thank you very much once again, and we're out.
Peace.